You ever held the door open for someone and they walked right past you like you owe them rent? Or maybe you went out of your way to help a friend, only for them to disappear like Houdini the moment you needed something? Yeah, Stoicism would call that a Tuesday. We live in a world where kindness is seen as weakness and silence is often mistaken for submission. But the Stoics? They were kind but cold, compassionate but calculated. They gave but never gave themselves away. If you've ever felt like your good heart is getting trampled on, then this is your wake-up call. Before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe to help us grow this Stoic community. It fuels the journey. And trust me, you're going to want to stay till the end for this one. Number 1, the Stoic understanding of emotions and control. The Stoics believe that our emotions shouldn't control us. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That doesn't mean becoming a cold robot with zero feelings. It means choosing how you respond instead of being pulled by every emotional tug, especially when you're being taken advantage of. Kindness is a virtue, but when it turns into emotional slavery, where people exploit your empathy, it's time to apply that Stoic detachment. If someone constantly drains your time, energy, and patience, you're not being nice, you're being naive. There's a difference between being good and being gullible. Epictetus taught that we should keep your will in harmony with nature, and nature didn't create you to be someone's doormat. It created you to live with purpose and dignity. If your kindness doesn't bring peace to your mind, it's not kindness, it's self-betrayal. So the next time someone treats your compassion like a weakness, pause. Don't explode. Don't sulk. Just adjust. The Stoic way is silent correction, not loud confrontation. Control your response, and you regain your power. Number 2, coldness isn't cruelty, it's clarity. Let's clear something up. Being cold doesn't mean being cruel. It means being clear. Clear about your boundaries. Clear about your worth. Clear about what you will and will not tolerate. The Stoics weren't heartless. They just had incredible emotional discipline. When someone shows you they're willing to take without giving, it's not Stoic to keep handing over pieces of yourself. It's foolish. Being cold means stepping back, observing the situation without sentiment, and making a rational choice. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself and others is say no. Seneca said, "A gift consists not in what is done or given, but in the intention of the giver." Your intentions may be pure, but don't waste them on people who don't even see them. Be like ice, solid, still, and untouchable, unless someone's willing to warm up to your value. Here's a life tip straight from the Stoic playbook. If someone keeps treating your kindness like a free trial, cancel the subscription. You owe no explanation for protecting your peace. Coldness isn't vengeance, it's self-respect. Number 3, when kindness becomes self-sabotage, kindness has its limits. Beyond those limits, it becomes self-sabotage. You give someone advice, they ignore it. You give them support, they drain you. You forgive them 10 times. On the 11th, they betray you again. At some point, kindness becomes enabling. Marcus Aurelius wasn't out here sending follow-up texts to people who ghosted him. He focused on his role, his duties, and his personal growth. If someone didn't match his energy, he moved on with dignity. Be like Marcus. Block in peace. Ghost with grace. Walk away with wisdom. You weren't meant to save everyone. That savior complex? Drop it. That's not kindness. That's ego pretending to be empathy. Real Stoicism knows when to help and when to let people figure it out themselves. Because constantly saving people teaches them not to swim. Remember, people will keep drinking from your cup until there's nothing left for you. Be kind, but also carry a lid. You can't pour into others when your own cup is cracked from overuse. Heal, seal, and keep it moving. Number 4, Stoic boundaries are quiet but unshakable. Boundaries don't have to be loud. In fact, the Stoics preferred to let their silence do the talking. You don't need to post a quote on your story about cutting people off. Just live it. start declining those favors. Stop responding with urgency to people who never do the same. Withdraw quietly. Cold doesn't mean rude. It means unavailable for manipulation. If you're always available, people will treat you like a convenience, not a connection. Stoics had a rule: value yourself as much as you value others. That means protecting your energy like it's gold, because it is. Ever noticed how people get mad when you stop letting them use you? That's proof you were never appreciated, only accessed. A Stoic doesn't beg for loyalty or respect. They just observe who honors the boundary and who storms off when they can't control you. There's power in emotional minimalism. Less reacting, more observing. Less explaining, more walking away. When your boundaries are rooted in wisdom, they don't need defending. They defend you. Number 5, becoming a Stoic in a manipulative world. The modern world is full of manipulators, people who smile while using you, who flatter while draining you. It's a battlefield out there, and your kindness is the first casualty if you're not careful. Stoicism isn't just philosophy, it's armor. To be Stoic is to be unshakable in a world that constantly tries to provoke you. People will test you with guilt trips, emotional blackmail, and if you really cared, games. But once you master detachment, you become immune. And trust me, nothing confuses a manipulator more than a calm, unbothered man. Use humor when needed, sure, but don't let jokes be your shield. Sometimes the strongest answer is a silent exit, a missed call, or a calm. No Stoics aren't out to win arguments. They're out to win themselves. So next time someone tries to turn your kindness into a leash, break it. Stand tall, be kind, but be cold. Because true strength isn't in giving all the time, it's in knowing when to stop. Number 6, the quiet power of indifference. In a world addicted to reactions, indifference is your superpower. Stoics didn't chase validation. They didn't need applause. They understood that not everything deserves a response, especially not disrespect. When your kindness is used against you, don't react louder, just react less. Marcus Aurelius mastered indifference. He wrote about staying calm while people judged, lied, or manipulated. His answer? They are what they are. I remain who I am. That's not passivity. It's elite emotional discipline. And that, my friend, is terrifying to manipulators. Think about it. When someone tries to guilt trip you, what happens if you just don't bite? No emotion, no explanation, just calm attachment. They're expecting drama. You give them a shrug. That's Stoic silence. It cuts deeper than shouting ever could. The colder you become to nonsense, the warmer your life becomes with peace. Because being unbothered is the loudest form of strength. Indifference isn't you giving up, it's you rising above. Number 7, choose respect over being liked. Let's be real, being liked is overrated, especially when people only like you for how much they can get out of you. Stoicism teaches that being respected by others, but especially by yourself, is far more powerful. When you're always nice to keep people happy, you end up exhausted, resentful, and invisible. That's not Stoicism. That's self-abandonment with a smile. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Translation? Stop fearing disapproval. A Stoic doesn't beg for attention. He doesn't mold himself to keep the peace. He stands rooted in values, unshaken by opinions. When someone tries to use your kindness and gets met with firmness instead, they won't like it, but they'll respect it, maybe even fear it a little. Here's the trick. Be respectful, but not reachable to everyone. You don't owe access to those who treat you like an option. Stop trying to be liked by people who don't even like themselves. Number 8, the dangers of emotional generosity. There's financial poverty, and then there's emotional poverty, when people take and take, leaving you drained. If you keep giving your empathy, time, and support to the wrong people, you'll end up rich in regret and bankrupt in peace. The Stoics practiced emotional discipline. They didn't cry over people who ghosted them or spiral over those who switched up. They evaluated, accepted, and moved forward. Being emotionally generous without discernment is like leaving your front door open in a storm. The more emotionally available you are to the wrong people, the less you'll have left for yourself and for those who actually matter. You're not a rescue mission. You're a person with limits, energy, and a purpose. Don't spend your best self on people who don't care if you break. Seneca said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Translation: sometimes life sends users and manipulators to test you. Pass the test by protecting your energy with the calm ruthlessness of a Stoic. Number 9. Mastering the art of the exit. One of the most powerful Stoic skills is knowing when to walk away, quietly, quickly, and without a meltdown. When someone consistently takes your kindness for granted, don't wait for closure. Don't type out a 3-paragraph message. Just go. Marcus Aurelius didn't waste time on people who broke his peace. He wrote about turning inward and focusing on his own integrity. He didn't slam doors. He simply stopped opening them. That's your blueprint. Make your exits so peaceful, they hear silence louder than words. Being cold isn't about being bitter. It's about refusing to argue with nonsense. You don't need to make a scene. You don't need to prove your worth. Your absence will say what your presence couldn't. The next time you feel disrespected, ask yourself, does this deserve a reaction, or does it deserve distance? Because some people won't hear you until they realize they lost access to you. That's the Stoic mic drop. No sound, all power. Number 10, become the unshakable one. Every group has that one person you can't shake. The one who listens more than they speak. The one who's calm when everyone else is emotional. That person, that's the Stoic in a room. Be that guy. People expect you to fold when they push your buttons. When you don't, it confuses them. When your kindness has boundaries, it offends them. Why? Because they thought you were soft. Joke's on them. You're Stoic. You're polite, not passive. Chill, not weak. True strength isn't loud. It's in the ability to remain calm in chaos, kind without being used, and helpful without losing yourself. You can show empathy and still say no. You can forgive and still walk away. You can love and still leave. That's what separates the Stoics from suckers. Being unshakable is about choosing dignity over drama. You don't react to everything because you're above it, not because you're numb. And when people finally realize your silence wasn't weakness, it was power, they'll remember you. Cold, calm, unforgettable. If you found value in this message, hit that like button, subscribe, and join the movement. We're building a community of strong, clear-minded individuals who think deeply and live intentionally. Don't just be kind, be Stoic. And always remember, ice doesn't melt for people who never brought warmth. See you in the next one. Stay cold, but noble.